Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into one of the world's oldest texts to figure something out. Something really fascinating. How do gods and cultures actually evolve? We're talking about a journey that goes back thousands of years.
All right, quick question for you. Who are the most powerful gods in Hinduism today? Go on, just think for a sec. I bet a few names jumped right into your head, didn't they? Yeah, you're not alone in that. You've got Shiva, Vishnu, Ganesha, Devi, right? I mean, these are the faces at the very center of modern Sanatana Dharma, worshipped by hundreds of millions. But here's the twist. What if I told you that in the oldest sacred texts, the top dog, the king of all the gods, was someone completely different? Yup. In the Rigveda, which was put together over 3,000 years ago, the king of the gods was Indra. He was the main guy. And that right there, that's our big mystery for today. What happened? Where did he go? And even bigger, why did this entire culture shift away from him? Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so to really get this massive change, we've got to meet the original king of the gods. And let me tell you, this guy, Indra, he represented a whole different world. So Indra, he wasn't this calm, perfect, meditating god, not at all. He was kind of the opposite. He was all about power, ambition, even material stuff. He was the god of war, thunder, and rain, basically a god of action who got things done. And he was seriously flawed. I mean, he was known for drinking this intoxicating drink called soma, and he wasn't shy about his ambitions. But here's the thing, that's why people worshipped him. He helped them get what they wanted in the real world. He was the perfect god for a culture that was all about achieving your goals. This comparison really shows you the world Indra came from. The philosophy of the Rigveda was all about complete attachment. You declare what you want and you go get it, period. That is a world away from the philosophy you find in later texts like the Bhagavad Gita, right? Which is all about doing your duty, but without being attached to the outcome. Two totally different mindsets. So the big question is, how did we get from a world run by a god like Indra to the gods we know today? Well, it wasn't some sudden takeover. It was a slow, you could call it a great divine shift. Get this. Vishnu, who is obviously a huge deal today, was actually a minor god back in the Rigveda. He was even called Upendra, which means something like Indra's younger brother. His whole job was basically to help Indra out. But while over the centuries, that role started to grow a lot. And Shiva's story? It might be even wilder. His origins trace back to a deity called Rudra, the Howler. And people weren't praying to him for blessings. They were praying for him to just stay away. He was this feared, wild god of storms that you did not want crashing your party. You can actually track this transformation. In the Rigveda, Rudra is the scary god people want to avoid. Then fast forward to the Yajurveda, and suddenly he's getting whole hymns dedicated to him. He's gaining respect. And then, later on, this Rudra figure starts to blend with other local traditions like Pashuputi, and eventually becomes the Shiva we know today, complex and beloved. So it's not a replacement, it's an assimilation, an evolution. Now, a change in the gods this massive doesn't just happen on its own, right? It reflects a huge change in the people. We're talking about a culture that was physically on the move. I mean, the heartland of the entire Vedic culture picked up and moved. It started in the northwest, think modern-day Punjab, Pakistan, Afghanistan, but over time, the center shifted east into the super fertile Gangetic plains. And as they moved, they bumped into all these different non-Vedic cultures and started mixing, absorbing new ideas. So the whole culture became this amazing melting pot. They started absorbing all these new practices, things like deeper meditation, yogic traditions, even idol and temple worship, which weren't really a big part of the early Rigvedic world. And here's the key. As the society got more complex and diverse, it needed gods that everyone could connect with, not just a warrior class who totally got a guy like Indra. Okay. So what does all this mean? What's the takeaway from this incredible journey of gods and people? Why should we care about this ancient history right now, today? Well, one way to think about it is that the Vedas are like the source code for Indian culture. It's the foundational operating system. Pretty much everything that came after, new philosophies, new traditions, even ideas that rejected the old ways, they were all branching off from or reacting against this original code. Just think about that for a second. We're looking at a continuous cultural thread that goes back more than 3,500 years. That's incredible. And it shows us that this isn't a story about a culture that was frozen in time. It's a story of constant change, constant adaptation. And that brings us full circle, right back to Indra. Because some people look at all this and see a fascinating parallel. As modern India steps onto the world stage, becoming more ambitious, more materialistic, you have to wonder if we're seeing a comeback of that original Indra-like energy. It's a really provocative question, isn't it? Is that ambitious spirit of Indra, that focus on achievement and desire, making a comeback in the 21st century? It connects this ancient history directly to the world we live in now. And it really makes you think, are we watching one of those great cultural cycles turn all over again?